Sky clear below run 2000. Temperature 33. 2.9er. Altimeter 2985.
Clearance citation 44 Delta Tango Lacey with Lima, IFR to Porterville, Papa Tango Victor.
Citation 44 Delta Tango Van Nuys, clearance clear to Porterville Airport, read the Canoga 3 departure, Gorman transition, then as follows, maintain 4000. Expect flight level 180, 10 minutes after departure. SoCal departure frequency 134.2, squawk 4731.
Ground citation 44 Delta Tango Lacey with Lima taxi.
Citation 44 Delta Tango Van Nuys, ground, runway 16 right, taxi via Bravo Charlie, hold short, or runway 16 left.
16 right, Bravo Charlie, hold short, 16 left, 44 Delta Tango.
Attention all guys, information Mike now, current wind.
It's Rich back with you for another video, taxiing out of Clay Lacey at Van Nuys in a Citation Mustang. Going to do a quick flight out to Porterville. It's where we do a lot of training when we train in Southern California. I'm going to take you through a circling approach in the Mustang, and then we're going to talk a little bit about bonus depreciation, so take you along for the ride.
44 Delta Tango will be holding short at 16 left, and we'll be ready to go.
44 Delta Tango Van Nuys, roger.
Hey, Rich. Hey.
November 4 Delta Tango, runway 16 right, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, 16 right, 44 Delta Tango.
November 4 Delta Tango, traffic west down, wind Piper.
44 Delta Tango, roger.
Direction, traffic in position.
Roger.
Carlisle 62 parking.
Heading to Jet Aviation.
Carlisle 62 medical bed, contact ground points up. November 4 Delta Tango, wind 12010, runway 16 right, cliff takeoff.
Cliff takeoff 16 right, 44 Delta Tango.
Ground trajectory, runway 16 right, clear to land. 57, Deprecation, 537, Charlie Van Nuys, roger.
Takeoff power set, engine instruments are all in the green, airspeed's alive. 70 knots, good acceleration. Here's V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear goes up. V2 plus 10, flaps go up. Climb power, yaw damper. Bilge. Autopilot. Climb power, gear, flaps, pressurization. Everything looks good. After takeoff checks complete. Pretty short flight, so I'm going to talk about a couple of things here of Citation Mustang with about 2750 total time, NXI. Very nice, clean High Sierra Mustang. It may be coming on the market soon, and if it does, I'll tell you more about it. One of the things I wanted to talk about is bonus depreciation is back, and from what I read, it's permanent now, which is the first time in since I've been selling airplanes.
Sky was 35.
I think the original bonus depreciation concept came out in 2002. It's always been a short term with an expiration, and it's often phased out. And I bet you it's been renewed probably, I'm saying 10 times since 2002. And that's why when I was talking about bonus depreciation this time, because they did let it phase out to 80 and then 60% over the last couple of years, but my experience was that if they don't renew it this time, it'd be the first time in 23 years or so that they haven't. So I always thought they would. It's typically a bipartisan initiative, and I think it does spark the market. And so it's a 100% expensing, depreciation expense in the first year for airplanes that qualify for business use. So it's a pretty big move, and we're glad to see it back. And hopefully a lot of people can take advantage of it. So that's one thing I wanted to mention is bonus depreciation is back, and it's permanent from what I read. If somebody knows different, let me know. But I think there was either the Senate or the House had a version that was through 2029. But my understanding is that it's permanent. as part of this recent bill. So that's good news, and the market, you know, the market usually responds as this year progresses. My expectation is the market's gonna get a little more brisk. Airplanes are gonna start selling and quicker, and prices will probably firm up.
November
and
14 Kilo,
perhaps
14.5,
go up.
Descending on the Ivans to 1000.
And as I've said many times, there's not a ton of supply of airplanes. It's a fairly small supply of airplanes, so it doesn't take a lot of buyers to enter the market for supply to really shrink, and when supply shrinks, prices go up. So if you're contemplating an airplane in any class, Mustang, you know, business jet upstream from a Mustang or a smaller airplane downstream, my feeling is that the market's is going to get reinvigorated here, and as the year progresses, I think the market's going to get tight. Now we'll see if I'm right. Who knows? It's been a little slow. It's been a little sluggish. Elections, inauguration, world events. I think, you know, people maybe are a little wait and see, but I think that's going to change. And if you have any questions about bonus depreciation, give me a call. It's pretty straightforward, and I can give you kind of an overview of, you know, these different markets that I work in, which are largely owner-flown airplanes. I've always gravitated towards working with people who want to buy an airplane and actually fly it. And so if you're in that category, you're thinking about a Mustang or a M2 CJ3 Plus all the way down to, you know, 182, 206, Cirrus. I do a lot of flight training and type ratings in the Mustangs and other airplanes. And one thing that's required for the type rating is circling approach. And for whatever reason, circling approaches are often challenging for people to do with, you know, with confidence. I think a lot of it is people don't do them very often, so. And then you got to do one on the check ride, and that makes it that much harder because you have the pressure of the check ride environment. And so this approach, I'm going to do a circling approach at Porterville Airport out here in the valley. And one of the reasons we come out here is because it's tough to get the approaches you need in the LA basin with the traffic, and it seems like there's still a kind of a controller shortage, and, you know, busy airports, busy airspace. You know, the components of a circle are obviously they're trying to figure out how you're going to circle. And in the Mustang, the configuration for the airplane is flaps, takeoff and approach, speed 120 until you're ready to descend from the minimum and land. 325, fraction 537, Charlie Bite. Depending on the orientation of the approach runway to the landing runway, there could be a lot of different ways to maneuver and circle to get to a point to where you can land. And so this particular approach we're going to do, we're basically coming in 180 degrees off of the runway. So we'll be making a 45 to get separation, joining a downwind, base, final, and landing. And so this one is, you know, essentially a full pattern off of an opposite direction runway. And, you know, I treat these circling approaches more like a VFR pattern, because if you think of it, you really are visual on the bulk of the circle. And I think what makes a lot of people uptight is thinking of it as a whole instrument approach. You know, once you get down to the MDA and you commence the circle, it's really more like a visual pattern, VFR pattern, than it is an instrument approach. And so you can do it all on the autopilot. And these modern airplanes, the autopilot's very reliable and pretty easy to to manage the circle. And I think to me, the biggest thing is planning to recognize how you're going to circle. Like this approach, I've done it a few times, so I know that I'm gonna descend to the MDA on vertical speed from the final approach fix to the circling minimum, and then I'm gonna level off, and I'm gonna have a heading to join the downwind pre-selected.
Who's that looking for?
And then I'm just going to use the heading bug to fly the procedure and maintain my speed and my configuration until I'm ready to descend for minimums, and then I'm going to go to landing flaps, and then descend for minimums and make the turn to, I'll be on a base.
Number 4 Delta Tango, contact Bakersfield on 18.8.
18.8, 44 Delta Tango.
I'm going to load this approach.
1001, 1500,
It's going to be the GPS 1-2.
Tango 78, roger, and what was the aircraft type?
And we're going to do it via Exario. The minimums. So we got Porterville,
if you're looking for the
procedure, approach, GPS 1-2. Circling minimum there at 120 is 900 feet. Okay, we're going to go out here, we're going to do a procedure turn at Exario. We're gonna, and then we're gonna come back in.
To be a little off course to the west.
We're gonna cross Exario at 3,500 feet, and then once we cross Exario at 3,500, we're gonna descend to 2,100 feet at Only, which is the final approach fix. I'm gonna do that in vertical speed mode, even though we're gonna have a glide path. But this is a non-precision approach to me, so that means to me, I'm going to fly it on vertical speed mode, and the FAA gives you these, these 3-degree glide paths so that you can have some stability. But to me, it works a lot better to fly it. It's a non-precision approach, so I'm going to take command of the vertical path using vertical speed, and I do that for a couple of reasons. One is, in approach mode, if you couple up to a vertical or to a glide path, and you have the MDA set, and you forget to go to vertical speed, it'll fly right through the MDA. It won't level at the MDA. I see that a lot in training. And you can tell, you should, if you look at the scoreboard, you don't see the white ALTS next to, in approach mode, and that means the autopilot is not going to level off at the MDA. And on a check ride, if you bust an MDA, it's not gonna go too well. So I like to do it in vertical speed. So I'm gonna go down to 2,100, cross Only, and then after Only, I can descend down to my MDA, which is 900 feet, which I have set. So crossing Only, I'll have, once I level off at 21, I'll go to 900, vertical speed down 1,000 feet a minute. Configured, flaps in this airplane at takeoff and approach, gear down at the final approach fix, and now my speed becomes 120, and then I'm going to, the old dive and drive. That's the way I like to do it. There's other ways to do it. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but this is my technique now.
Sierra Papa, I am currently
I'm also going to use the Papa descent. FMS is generated.
Negative. I believe a Kevin is transferred.
The top of descent is right here, and that's to get me at Exario
before you go. 12 o'clock, 15
at 3,500 feet on a 3-degree, and then I can also use it to get me down to Only, the final approach fix, at 2,100. Those are blue altitudes, so I know I can VNAV to those altitudes. Inside the final approach fix, I'm not gonna use the glide path. I'm gonna use vertical speed. I'm gonna engage now VNAV.
Affirmative, climb maintain 1,000.
I can see here in white V path. So I'm all set.
Clock 2.5 miles.
So descent, pressurization, verify field elevation. I got that set. don't need any anti-ice. I got throttle set at 200 knots. Altimeters I set were at 2985. Let's put those in there. 2985. I set that one. That one's good.
Cessna 0 Juliet Papa, Cessna traffic has you in sight.
So now I want my landing speeds. So I'm going to go to auxiliary. I'm going to sync my fuel. 7620.
Have a good day.
And right over here I got a little chart. So I'm going to use 8000. 94,101 are going to be my speeds. So we're going to put 94,101. We're going to turn those on. I'm going to circle at 120, and I'm going to use ref once I add the landing flaps. Okay, so that's set. Landing light switch is on. Landing data, we confirm. Seatbelts on. Avionics are set now. Minimums I set. They're right here, 900 feet. Pack safety switch I don't need. Seatbelts, fuel transfer is off. And ice systems we don't need. Landing light switch flaps. I'm going to leave the flaps until we start our, until we complete the procedure turn. And then briefing, we already kind of briefed this approach. And I think it's wise, especially in a jet or a faster airplane, to get all that stuff done, checklist, briefing, understanding how you're going to do this approach, circle, whatever kind of approach it is, you got it all figured out. The approach commences. And I also think you should really think about your brief more than just the standard, I got the right approach, I got, minimums, I got, the inbound course is right, just approach altitude, all that kind of stuff. That's all great, but to me the more important thing is how am I going to get down to the final approach fix altitude on a circle? How am I going to circle? What's my configuration going to be? And, what direction am I going to circle so I can set everything up and pre-think it out before I ever shoot the approach. So that would be more important to me to brief those things than the standard, chart brief that we used to do, because the FMS and the Garmin does so much for you. It loads the procedure, the fixes, the courses. I'd spend more time figuring out how I'm going to do the circle than I am double checking that Garmin, loaded a procedure correctly. I'm going to check it, but more time spent on the other thing, on the other components of the approach. I'm telling you, based on a lot of it, now here comes my vertical path. Now that's flashing at me, and that tells me it wants me to re-engage. So I'm going to hit it again, and now it stopped flashing. I got a lower altitude set, matches the pink or the magenta altitude here. But I'm telling you, some of these things that I've developed is based on training a lot of people and mistakes that I commonly see, not just, just pulling stuff out of thin air and telling you this is, I'm telling you based on doing a lot of training in this class airplane, type ratings, and a bunch of circling approaches and seeing a bunch of mistakes, how the mistakes are made on circling approaches. And so that's why I'm trying to, develop some things that'll help some people. So here comes the vertical path. I should see the vertical path go from white to green. There it went, and it locks in. I'm gonna come back on my power.
Delta Tango, the closest traffic I have for you is over Visalia Airport, one indicated at 1,200 and another indicating 1,100. No traffic observed over Porterville Airport. Radar services terminated. Block VFR. Frequency changes proof.
Thanks a lot for your help. 44 Delta Tango. I've said it many times and when I'm doing these more flying videos than airplane review videos, but some things that are absolutes for me is to understand my configuration on an approach and briefing it and speed, and then being configured per my briefing at the final approach fix, and no configuration changes inside the final approach fix. Now in this case, I am gonna go to landing flaps as I descend from minimum. Now I could use takeoff and approach flaps because I know I have the performance to land with takeoff and approach flaps, but I'm gonna go to landing flaps, and see that's part of my brief. And maybe you could say that's a deviation from the standard I have, that I don't make configuration changes inside the final approach fix. Well, going to landing flaps on this circle would be a configuration change, but I'm briefing it, so therefore I can do it. It's not just a random thing I'd throw it in at the end. I'm saying I'm going to do it, and I can allow that exception. There's the beginning of the procedure turn as we come into 3,500. Altitude's leveling off. Bring up just a little bit of power. There's the procedure turn. So my next altitude on these non-precision approaches, I want to be, I always dial in the next altitude, the next lower altitude, so I have it figured out. It's 2,100. I just set it. I'm way ahead here. Approach is briefed. Configuration's briefed. I'm 5 miles from only. So I can go to vertical speed. I'm going to use 1,000 feet a minute here. Going down to 2,100. And I'm going to get there before I get to only. And my heading, I know my first turn on this circle is going to be a 45, so I'm going to set the 45 heading right there. And then once I start the circle, I know all I got to do is go to heading mode. 2 miles now from only, we're getting ready to level off. Okay, 1 mile, gears coming down. Slowing to 120. Okay, there's only, now I can go to 900. Vertical speed, 1,000 feet a minute's the max inside the final approach fix. Now I'm looking for 120 knots. Gears down 3, configured for the circle as I briefed. 1,000 to go. Speed's coming in. Citation's now on a 3-mile final for runway 12, circle 30 at Porterville. 500 to go to minimums. Speed's right at 120. 100 to go. I'm slowly bringing up my power because I know I'm going to level off and I want to maintain 120 knots.
500. Minimums. Minimums.
There's my minimums. Power's coming up. All right, I see the runway. I'm going to commence the circle. So all I got to do, because I preloaded my heading, is go to heading mode. And now I'm going to roll in my missed approach altitude to 3,100 in case I got to go around. Speed's 120. Now I'm looking to get just enough separation so that I don't have to exceed 30 degrees of bank to maneuver to the runway. And 1.7 is my distance. So you can see that here. I got the runway in sight. Speed looks good, 120. Okay, I'm going to turn now to my reciprocal heading and maybe give myself just a little bit of a cheat there. My green donut, which is 1.3 of my stall speed in this configuration. And on these turns with the autopilot, you have to anticipate a little because when you roll the new heading in, the airplane doesn't immediately turn. It's a slow, gradual turn, so you have to anticipate a little bit. Citation's turn left base for 30 at Porterville. Okay, and I'll make my base turn now. Speed looks good. Now, it's important to keep the runway in sight here because the viz could be down. All right, I'm configured. I'm ready to descend for minimum, so I'm going to go flaps to land. Let the autopilot do a little bit of trimming for me. And then I'm going to go autopilot off. And then come back on my power. Now my speed becomes ref. Check the final. Looks good. Now I'm looking for ref. Flight director, I'm not going to chase it. I'm visual now. I am descending below minimums. The ref's coming in. Nice standard rate turn here to the runway. I'm a little low. That's okay. Citation's on a 1 mile final for 30 full stop, Porterville. There's the runway. Now I'm coming up on glide path. I'm ref plus about 15. That's okay.
Check runway.
Gears down 3 green. I got to check runway because we shot an approach to 1-2. Flaps are in the land position. Speed ref's coming in. Now I'm on glide path. So now I can go to my known power setting to hold ref. There's power to idle. Thousand-foot markers. All right, so that's a pretty good circle. I get to watch people do those a lot, and I don't get to do them very often. Citation clear 30 Porterville. Flaps coming up. Get these lights off. Heats. So just to recap, this is a Mustang that may be coming for sale. So if you're interested in the Mustang, you watch this video, give me a call. We can talk about this one. And bonus depreciation is back. If you have any questions about bonus depreciation, give me a call. 100%. And it's permanent. And then this circling approach, hopefully you got something out of that. I see a lot of, it's a challenge. You have to do it on the type rating, and it's one that nobody does very often. Circling approaches, and so it takes a little bit of planning, and it's a little different than the straight in. But I think if you treat it more like a VFR pattern than thinking of it as an instrument approach, once you get down to minimums, it seems like it could be a little bit easier. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, look forward to talking to you. Give me a call, send me an email. Thanks for watching.